Welcome to my channel I Smile Academy. Today we will be doing electrostatics part 4. The first question: a charge of q coulomb is placed on a solid piece of metal of irregular shape. The charge will distribute itself. So we are given an irregular metal object and there is some charge over it. So four options are given here. It will distribute uniformly on the surface or on the metal object, or such that the potential energy of the system is minimized, or such that the total heat loss is minimized. So see, it is a natural thing that any body, it adjusts itself so that the potential energy is always minimum. So here also in this case the charge will distribute itself on the irregular shape such that the potential energy is minimized. In case of a regular shape object, a metal piece, the potential energy is minimized when the charge is uniformly distributed over the surface. But because this is irregular shape, so it adjusts itself such that the potential energy is minimized. So C is the option in this. Next is question number 2. 5 balls numbered 1 to 5 are suspended using separate threads. Pairs 1, 2, 2, 4 and 4, 1 show electrostatic attractions, while pair 2, 3 and 4, 5 show repulsion. Therefore, ball 1 must be. So we have 5 balls. So this is, let us take ball 1, this is 2, 3, 4 and 5. We are numbering them. This is, let us say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So according to the given data, 1 and 2 they are showing attraction. So let us assume this is suppose negative charge. Let us make an assumption. So this has to be positive. The second data shows that 2 and 4 they are also showing attraction. So if 2 is positive, this has to be negative. And then third assumption shows that 4 and 1 are attractive, but here if this is negative, this must be positive. So there is a discrepancy here. Then again, while pair 2 and 3 they show repulsion. So if 2 is positive, this also has to be positive, and 4 and 5 also show repulsion. So if this is negative, this also has to be negative. So the discrepancy arrives at this point, at point 1. So it means that this is a neutral. Number 1 is a neutral. Next is question number 3. Two identical conductors of copper and aluminium are placed in an identical electric fields. The magnitude of induced charge in the aluminum will be. Now see, if we have a metal, whether it is a aluminium or copper, so if suppose this is a copper and we have another metal aluminium, if they are placed in any external field, so what happens? Induced charge are developed on the surface of the conductor. Now here I will show with the diagram. So here this diagram is given. So in this diagram we can clearly see that this is the electric field, the direction of the electric field. So at this point we have negative charges are developed, and this point at this surface we have positive charge. They are developed so that the field inside the conductor is 0. Now whether it is copper or aluminum or any other metal, the amount of induced charge is same as long as their shapes are same, the area, the surface area is same. So in this case what is given, they are identical conductors and identical electric fields. So whatever induced charge is developed on aluminum, the same is developed on copper. So the answer in this case is C. Next is question number 4. Two spherical conductors B and C having equal radii and carrying equal charges in them repel each other with a force F when kept apart at some distance. A third spherical conductor having same radius as that of B but uncharged is brought in contact with B and then brought in contact with C and finally removed away from both. The new force of repulsion between B and C is. So see what we are given. We are given two charges. One is B, two conductors. One is B, another is C. They are at some distance apart. Let the distance be suppose R. They are at a distance R from each other. and we are told that they repel each other, so there are some charges, let the charge be q on both the surface. Now next what we do, we bring another conductor which is uncharged. So first we bring it contact with B. So this is brought in contact with B, and then this conductor is uncharged, but when it comes in contact with B, some charges will be transferred, and the same conductor is again brought in contact with C, and then it is removed. So now again there will be some charge distribution amongst, so this was new conductor X, so X into B and X into C. So this X charge is removed. Now again we have to find what is the repulsion between B and C. So now we continue our calculation now. So F is the force when the new conductor is not in contact with both of them. So this is the force of repulsion. We are ignoring the negatives or positive sign. So here what we get is Q square upon R square, because Q into Q upon R square. So this is the original force. Now we take the first case, we bring this charge unknown, we bring another conductor in contact with B. Now the new conductor is uncharged, so there is a charge distribution which is given by another. Charge on X is 0 and charge on B is Q. So this is how we find the amount of charge on both the conductors. So this becomes Q by 2. So now because of this, the charge on B is Q by 2 and X is also Q by 2. So X and B both acquire the same charge, Q by 2. Now next what we do, we bring this conductor X in contact with C. So now what happens, this conductor X has already charged Q by 2. So here this X has charge Q by 2, and we have conductor C having charge Q. So again there is a charge distribution amongst them, redistribution. So what we have is Q by 2 plus Q upon 2. So here if we do the calculation, this comes out to be 3Q by 4. So now what we are interested in B and C. So I again redraw this B and this C. So B has charge as given up here, it is Q by 2. So this is B, it is having charge Q by 2, and here we have C, it is having charge 3Q by 4. So now what is this distance R is same. So now we do the calculation. So what is the force now? New force is F equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by 2 into 3Q by, sorry, this is 4, okay, this is 4, so this is 4 on R squared. So if we do the calculation, what we have is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q square upon R square into 3 by 8. So yes, 3 and 4 to the 8. So here, but this is F, already F. So this actually, this force is already F dash. So this F dash would be, now this quantity in this bracket is actually F, which we have already given. So this is the answer. The force will become D, 3F by 8. This is the answer. Next is question number 5. When a body is earth connected, electrons from earth flow into the body. This means the body is. So here what is given, we have a body, and when it is connected to earth, this is how we denote earth. So electrons, they are flow from earth into the body. So this is, the electrons are flowing in this direction. Now see, whenever we are connecting any body to earth, so the potential of earth, if we take it as 0 volt, so this body, okay, when it is connected to ground, it gives out the excess charge to the earth. But here what is happening, electrons are flowing into here. So if we assume that it has plus q charge, then earth will contribute minus q charge, so that this becomes 0. So if electrons are flowing from ground or from earth to the conductor to make it at 0 potential, so here in this case we assume it is clear that it was previously having positive charge, because of which electrons are flowing here. So here what we conclude is the body is actually positively charged. Next is question number 6. Four metal conductors having different shapes, sphere, cylindrical, sphere, lightning conductor, are mounted on insulating stands and charged. The one which is best suited to retain the charges for a longer time is. So if we are charging all these four conductors, so which conductor will retain charge for a longer time, because they are insulated. So there is some leakage of charges is there. So in this four, in which case the leakage is very less. Now we study one by one. First is a lightning conductor. Now in a lightning conductor, it has sharp edges. Okay. So generally when we are charging any conductor, the charge concentration is much at the edges. So here, because it is having sharp edges, so there will be more conductors at the edges and less at the other parts, and because of which there will be more leakage. Then second comes the pier. Pier shape is of course not exactly spherical, so even in the case of pier, there will be some concentrations of the concentration is not even, it is uneven, so even this is not suitable. In case of cylindrical, the cylindrical we see it has few edges here. Okay, so here there is an edge, so here there will be more concentration of charges at the edges. So here this is not suitable. But in case of sphere, there are no edges, so here sphere we can see is more suited to retain charges for longer time as compared to the other three. And lightning conductor, it will lose charges at the very fast rate. Next is question number 7. Identify the wrong statement in the following. Coulomb's law correctly describes the electric force that binds the electron of an atom to its nucleus. So this is correct, because nucleus has protons and neutrons. Protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged, so it binds the electrons because of the electrostatic force of attraction. Then binds the protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. This statement is incorrect. So for binding the protons and neutrons, there is a nuclear force, not the electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion. Then the third statement binds atoms together to form molecules. This is also correct. And binds atoms and molecules together to form solids is also correct. So only the wrong statement is the B one. So B is the answer in this case. Next is question number 8. A charge Q is placed at the center of the line joining two equal charges Q. The system of three charges will be in equilibrium if Q is equal to. So we are given two charges Q and this Q. This both are capital Q. They are separated by some distance. We place another charge, this small q, so that the entire system is in equilibrium. So let us take this distance as, this distance is r, not a, we take it r, so this becomes r by 2. So here what we do is when do we say the system is in equilibrium? Then when the algebraic sum of forces acting on the system of charges is 0. Okay. So first of all, what we do is we find the force between these two charges and the force between these two charges, okay, and they sum up to give 0. So what we get is the total force F would be, the force between this small q and capital Q is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q upon r by 2 the whole square, because distance is r by 2. Then plus between these capital Q's, so 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q square upon r square. Now this, in case of equilibrium, this sums up to 0. So what we have is, then this is 0 equal to, so here 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, this 2 square will go up, so it becomes 4 here, upon r square, plus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q square upon r square. Now we can rearrange the terms and cancel out the things which are common. So we can take this here, so we have minus 4q. So here what we observe is we only have q on the right hand side. This q cuts out with this q, r square, and all the other terms get cancelled out. So now this small q is minus q by 4. So this is the answer, this one. So in the option what we are given is B. B is the correct answer for this. Next is question number 9. Inside a hollow charged spherical conductor, the potential is constant or varies directly as the distance from the center, or varies inversely as the distance from the center, or varies inversely as the square of the distance from the center. Now see, inside the charged conductor, the potential is constant, V is constant. All the charges, three charges, they are on the surface, whether they are positive or negative, they are on the surface. So because of which electric field inside the spherical, so E inside the spherical conductor is 0 and V is constant inside. So A is the correct answer for this. Next is question number 10. Two small spheres, each carrying a charge q, are placed r meter apart. If one of the spheres is taken around the other one in a circular path of radius r, the work done will be equal to. So here we first draw a circle and we can study that. So I just take a circle here. So what we are given, we have a charge, let us assume this charge is at this point, and we have another charge. They are separated by a distance small r. This is the distance between them. Now what is done, this charge is taken, we are moving this charge in a circle of radius r. So this charge is moving in this way, around the circle, on the circumference of the circle. So what is the work done equal to? Now work done, we know, is force. It is a dot product of force into displacement. So displacement, let us take it as r, or even we can take it as itself, as its force into displacement. So this is a dot product, so we have Fs cos theta. Now because it is performing a circular motion, F is the force acting on this particular charge which is moving around on the circular path. F is directed towards the center of the circle, and the displacement is along the tangent to the circle. So the angle between F and S theta is actually 90 degree. So what we have is Fs cos 90, and cos 90 is 0. So work done in this case will be 0. So in this case D is the answer. So that's all, students, for this session. Please provide your feedback. It might happen that some mistakes may be done by me. So if there is any discrepancy or you find any answer wrong, please give your feedback and share amongst your friends. You find it worth, you can also share with your friends. Subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching the video.